I wasn't going to make a video today, but the last two videos was day 1 of the long weekend, day 2 of the long weekend. So it would be very weird if I didn't do day 3 of the long weekend. So I'm doing the best I can. I didn't think I had anything to say, but I'm pretty sure I've got a lot of things to say. I was saying in the last video how I haven't fed them for a number of days until the tank got cleaned up, and they've done an awesome job. So they had a huge feed today, and these gudgeons, they're overflowing with bloodworms today. So there's going to be another fast for a few days. Look at the bellies on them. Oh, he's just taken off the moment. It's unlike you. You were here a moment ago. Sorry about the reflection. That's got to do with the other tank, which we'll have a look at in a minute. I'm sorry to report there's a little tragedy for this tank today. I started off with 5 platies. One was, I believe, murdered week 1 by the other platies. That's what happens to bad things. And today another one passed away, so I'm a bit upset about that. It got itself stuck in some structure. I found it dead. It wasn't moving. It was gone. And then you think, which I have, I've thought a lot about it, that these fish are probably bred in a tank without structure. They have no idea. And in the wild, they wouldn't have lasted long enough because they don't know how not to get themselves stuck. They're doing a great job for me. I do love them, and I'll always give them a good home while they're here. But I do believe I'm going to transition this tank away from all non-natives. So it'll be the gudgeons and the blue eyes. I'd like to concentrate on the blue eyes because they've impressed me so much when they're displaying. So the white cloud minnows will go into another tank, as will the platies, and we'll start stocking this up with natives. So this is a Riverscape or creekscape by all means, but it's just willy-nilly plants thrown in there. Not thrown, like I put some thought into it, but it's been built to look this way without being natural. And I get that, but I still love it. Whereas, you'll remember the new tank over here, I'm designing especially. I know that's not native. I think it was the last video. It was the last video I said, I don't know what these fish are called and I don't care. I don't, and my point was, they're living creatures and I care for them and I love them. And I'm so pleased how happy they are in here. But I also thought today was a bit insulting, so I looked it up. They're called ruby barb. Ruby barbs. And I inherited these fish, so they're pretty much full size. And they, the reviews on YouTube are 100% right. They are fast, they're active. If they're unhappy, they're in a school. If they're happy, they're happy to go out off on their own and explore. They eat just about anything. And they've cleaned up the tank beautifully. So I said they can't stay here because it's going to be a native tank, but wow, what a great fish to put in there until you get to that point where you're ready. just get everything to settle down. They've eaten all the moss, and not all, but the vast majority is so much cleaner. And I see them digging around the sand and picking off, the filter you can see in front of me, which is ugly and will go, but doing its job until I buy something better. Picking off that, excuse me. I'm very impressed. They're awesome. So they've got a new home. If you remember the 4-foot tank for the long weekend, the project, I don't know, I hope it, yeah, you can see. So the tank's down there. It's so much bigger in this room on the cabinet than what it looked like when I was working on it outside. I have painted the cabinet. I've cleaned up the tank, all ready to go. I have bought things to put a curtain across the front. It just didn't happen today. So exciting. We can work on that bit by bit whilst I work on this one. So yes, I'm spreading myself thin, but loving it. This tank is inspired, well, it's for the purple spotted gudgeons, Queensland Creek, and it's inspired by the YouTuber Australian Biotopes. So go check out their channel. I will put a link down below. I just need to give a shout out for a number of things. Well, I don't have to, I want to. The other person who's been a big influence on my journey, and I've only been doing aquariums for what, 4 months? That's all. Is Father Fish. Check it out. And he talks about natural aquariums, creating the diversity. Yesterday when I planted the plants in here, it was all cloudy, and this morning it was crystal clear, and now it's all cloudy again because I brought more biomass in. What I did this morning was what Father Fish has suggested, and another YouTuber named Dundeel Fish, Dundeal Fish, and I'll put a link for both of those as well in the description. Just so inspirational to try to make a diverse aquarium from Father Fish. And the reason why I mentioned Dundeel is he talks about, well, he doesn't talk about it, he goes out, well, there you are, I just shocked them, to Australian creeks in Queensland and just catches fish out of the creeks, and he finds rainbows and swordfish and whatnot. So inspired by that, today I spent 4 hours out in nature trying to emulate that. Complete and utter failure, I caught nothing. Well, that is the failure. But I spent 4 hours bush bashing, getting down to creeks that no one's been to in years. I've got the scratches to show for it. I haven't, wow, see, when they're scared, they school. That's what they do. So I spent like 2 hours under a thick canopy without 2 feet around me, watching the water, looking at everything around me, listening. It was just a wonderful time. Then I went to a more open place and the sun was out in winter, and I was the only one there. I didn't see anybody while I was in these remote areas. And 4 hours, it was just awesome, even though I caught nothing. But I was observing, I was having a look at what was happening. What I did do is grab some moss, and if it takes, it takes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. A wee fern there. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I didn't steal anything, and wouldn't have been trampled by humans if they could get down there. So part of the project this weekend, and nothing's finished on this tank yet, well, it's just progressing. I've now got the lights set up there. It's way too bright right now. I just put the 10 watt, 20 watt and 10 watt on to make a point. Now let's just unplug the 20 watt. It's a bit more manageable now at this time of night. Everything's going nicely. So what's with the jar on top? The jar on top is what Father Fish calls a resurrection jar. So that's biomass out of a natural creek, local creek, and I'm interested to see what living organisms we create or grow in there. It doesn't live there, it lives on the windowsill in the kitchen, which doesn't get direct sunlight, but good sunlight. Well, similar to where I got this biomass from. Just a little bit of light. So it'd be great to see what grows there and introduce that into the ecosystems that we have. So after I said I don't have anything to say, clearly I do. I am very tired, and that's good because I need to get an early night's sleep for work tomorrow, early start. Very happy with the progress. Yes, there's lots of room at the top because I don't know what height the lights need to be at, so they can be moved at any time, and I'll beautify it over time. Oh look, the place is a mess really. It's like a workshop. All the aquarium YouTube things I watch, everyone says, oh, but the whole place is a mess. Everything's a mess. But yeah, wow, look at that, it's huge. It's very exciting at the same time. Well, thank you for your patience, everyone. So what have we got here? I'll just have a look at my little cheat sheet. Then I'll put it in my pocket after all that. I've given a shout out to Dundeel Fish for catching fish in creeks in Queensland. Father Fish for his natural biodiversity tanks, including the resurrection jars. To Australian Biotopes. Wow, that is so inspirational, and that's what's given me the vision for this tank. When you see the finished product, it's based on that. There's a lot of tannins in there which you don't see in the creek up there, but I have to live with what I have, and I don't see that as being a massive problem at this stage. Oh, I keep forgetting to say that I live in Lake Macquarie, New South Wales, Australia. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Absolutely gorgeous. I went to Winding Creek first this morning in Lake Macquarie, and then to Cockle Creek Weir. But having said all that, given how tired I am, and the fish are tired of me, I reckon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the views. I've got an increase in views. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, contributors. Everyone I watch. Can't mention them all. And all that will get tidied up there. Don't worry about that. Good weekend. I hope everything's going well for you. Good night.